Do you regret your vote right now?
Well, between him and her, I thought he was the better choice, but honestly, I miss my Uncle Joe. I was a nobody, and I was balling then. Now, I couldn't even tell you. I couldn't even show you $5 in my pocket.
Did you fill up today or just?
No, I just got $15.
Is that because it's high?
Yeah, I can't afford to fill up right now. Payday isn't right now. I don't know that we're going to wake up from one day to the next.
The pressure is getting worse. Did I just hear someone said, I miss Uncle Joe? Did I just hear someone said, and I quote, I miss Uncle Joe. Right now, I'm regretting my vote for him. This man, we slept on the 27th. We woke up on the 28th. He said there is war. And due to that, there's been a lot of scarcity east, west, north, and south. Even as I'm filming this video right now, in my own home country, Nigeria, we have what we call fuel and gas scarcity. So to those ones always saying, go and do what is in your country and leave Americans alone. Anything that affects you is affecting us. So right now, MAGAs are uproared. MAGAs are sad. MAGAs are bitter that they can no longer afford gas. They can no longer feed their tank. I don't want to say too much. Go and watch. Let's watch. Credits belong to the original creators of every single clips and stitches we have in today's episode. And I want to say a very big thank you to every single one of you liking, commenting, sharing, dropping super thanks, and also joining my membership. I really do not take you guys for granted. You guys are absolutely the best. And guys, let's go watch. I'll be back with commentaries.
Anthony Blinken, Joe Biden's Secretary of State, just admitted that Donald Trump fell for the same trick that Israel tried to trick Biden into doing, but Biden rejected.
October 7th attack on Israel, the horrific attack on Israel by Hamas. The Israelis were insisting that in the north, Hezbollah from Lebanon was about to attack, and they wanted to strike preemptively against Hezbollah. And President Biden said, look, we're with you, we'll always be with you in defending Israel, and if you're attacked, we're there, but we're not there if you're going to start something. And we came within about 30 minutes of having a war in the north based on bad information that the Israelis had about an imminent attack from Hezbollah. We were able to avert that. But Biden was very insistent. We're not going to do something that you initiate, that you start. It's very different than defending Israel when it's been attacked.
So now, ladies and gentlemen, this fuels more speculation, more questions, right? Because now you have to ask yourselves, assuming Anthony Blinken is correct, why would Donald Trump fall for it? And the most obvious answer would be, well, he's going to think that, hey, I'm smarter than Biden. Biden didn't know a good opportunity when he saw it. You know, because that's how Donald Trump is. Or does this all go back to Jeffrey Epstein? Right? Because if you follow what's happening with Jeffrey Epstein, then you would also understand what Israel's role was with Jeffrey Epstein and what information they might actually have on Donald Trump. And why is this all of a sudden coming out right now? All I can say is this. Donald Trump has a lot of explaining to do now, because when you have Anthony Blinken getting on record and saying things like this, basically saying we didn't fall for it, but Donald Trump did, and now look at what's going on around the world, it's evidence, it's more proof that obviously Donald Trump has only one goal right now, which is to protect only himself, not the American people.
Oh, man.
That's bullshit. All for what?
Are we great yet?
Yeah, thanks a lot. We're fucking great now. More, and you know what else too? Your meat, your groceries.
Oh, yeah.
Through the roof, because guess who carries those groceries? Diesel truck drivers. They're going to have to pay more. They're not going to take the loss. You are. God damn it.
Do you regret your vote right now?
Well, between him and her, I thought he was the better choice, but honestly, I miss my Uncle Joe. I was a nobody, and I was balling then. Now, I couldn't even tell you. I couldn't even show you $5 in my pocket.
We spoke to Trump voters here in Florida who are ticked off about the fact that the gas prices in the state have gone up by an average of about 60 cents within just a week.
I would just wish he'd keep up on his campaign promise and say he was going to put it under $3. He'd end that war so fast. But here it is, 5 years later, helping his buddy out get his more money. And then never mind charging us Americans all sorts of money for fuel that you just stole from Venezuela.
And those gas prices are getting higher because of volatile oil prices due to the war in Iran, a war that these Trump voters tell us they hope wraps up quickly.
If I could, speak to the president, I just encourage him to finish up this war and get us back to a safe world.
He's saying about for our safety, leave somebody alone, they won't bother you.
Hopefully this conflict over there will end, it's just unfortunate.
The overall vibe here at the gas pump amongst these Trump voters is they feel like the economy is not going well right now.
At the moment, I'm really out of work.
My hope is that it's temporary and it doesn't last for too long, that oil prices come back down. That's my hope.
Okay, so boom, the Iranians been plotting on America's top for the last 20 years, and this shows. Gas is $8.21 in Los Angeles. Now, look, you don't know me, you don't got to listen to me. But if I were you, I would tuck whatever I could in my mattress for the time being, because it's getting real ugly out here. And according to the experts, the way the Iranians is moving right now, they finna make sure everybody pockets hurt. And this gonna be on. The Iranians got out here looking goofy, okay? They said, oh, you want a holy war, homie? Don't trip, we got something for you. And since you finna take this L anyway, let's start with Leviticus, an eye for an eye. You unalived our supreme leader, and so we finna come get you, dog. Don't worry about it. The way that the Iranians have the game set up right now, they can take out the entire global economy. Let me explain. The Iranians have been attacking the GCC countries. The GCC is a political and economic union of 6 Arab nations, which include Bahrain, Kuwait, Oman, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and the UAE. So now the GCC is known for having buku oil reserves, but also for hosting American bases. And the Iranians had already called their neighbors, put out a public statement, and made it clear, like, hey, check this out. It's not personal, but if you got Americans over there, we finna bomb on you, bruh. Like, we running up over there, we dropping them things, it is what it is. Like we said, we ain't got no beef with you, but we got beef with them. So if they up over there, they finna get smacked. Because we said on site, it is what it is, we don't care where they are. And even the worst part, and I ain't even got to the part where old boy done set us up to get our pockets broke, okay? So, out in the Persian Gulf area, those countries do not have a fresh water system. They don't have fresh water because they don't really have lakes and rivers and stuff. They don't get a lot of rainfall either. So they are dependent on ocean water. But you can't just drink seawater, okay? Because it got salt in it. You have to take the salt out of the water so that it's usable. So they have these things called desalination plants that they use to clean the water so that it is usable for the people to drink and use to plant food and stuff like that. Well, Iran started bombing them mugs, okay? And they like, yeah, ain't nobody finna have no water over here. They cannot survive over there without them plants. So now this is where it gets out of pocket, literally. So the Iranians got people scared to come through the Strait of Hormuz. Now, why do that matter? Well, because 20% of the oil reserves that go around the world comes through that little strip of water. And that oil go to China, Japan, India, the USA, all that kind of stuff. And it really ain't no other way to get it through there, right? So this is why this is important. So them Gulf countries I was telling you about, Saudi Arabia and them, for example, Saudi Arabia's main economy is based off them selling oil. While they have been trying to scale out and get other investments, that is primarily where their income comes from. So if can't nobody get through that little strip of water, they can't sell their oil. This is why it's a problem for us. My understanding is that a lot of our AI companies and stuff have started investing in those areas, right? In return, those areas are paying for those investments with the money that they make by selling oil. So if they can't sell no oil, then they can't make no bread, which means they can't run us our dough back, run us our money, which means what? Yeah, we not getting our ends, our pockets is getting low, and you already know that people been saying that, you know, the economy and the market is based on this little AI bubble, and the bubble might burst and this, that, and the third. So Iran said let the bubbles burst if they need to. On top of that, 90% of the GCC's food supply comes through that little strip of water. So now, not only can you not get your product through so you can make some money, but you can't even get no food through there. And so was like, no, it's okay. Just go on and take your boat through there. It's okay. We're going to protect you. We got you. We're going to have insurance for you. And the vessels was like, no, we're not doing it because them missiles and bombs and stuff ain't got no name on it. And Iran had already showed they off they rocker because you come through that mud and ain't bombing. And so they was asking Iran, like, why y'all got it blocked? Why y'all not let people go through there? And Iran was like, it ain't us. We just fighting back. So if you come through, it is what it is. Like, just be mindful that we squabbling and we not finna stop because you think you want to run your product through here. So if they don't allow product to go through that little strip right there, it could seriously mess up the economy around the entire world because everybody is dependent on that oil. We need that oil for the boats to even ride to bring us products from other places. We need the oil to get on airplanes and travel and stuff like that. So not only does that cause the price of gas to go up, which is why gas is $8 and some change in Los Angeles, but the price of all our foods and products and stuff that also get transported are going to go up too. Okay, so is this why y'all keep swapping? Okay, how about y'all deserve?
Hey, MAGA. Remember how you were so excited to vote for Donald Trump because he said he was going to end all wars and not start any wars and he was going to bring down your prices and make everything more affordable? Then less than a week into office, he completely took back that second part, saying, oh, I'm not going to bring down prices, that's too hard. But of course he took back that whole peace thing too because he was the first president to ever bomb 7 countries in one single year. But now, just like every other Republican in the last 40 years, he's gotten us into another forever war in the Middle East, which he said there will be no deal with Iran, just unconditional surrender. Now, some of you seem to have caught on as to what this is doing to your gas prices that he also said he would bring down. Gas prices around the country have gone up about 40 to 50 cents in just the last week. And that's because the day after he and Netanyahu started bombing Iran, experts said that the cost of a barrel of oil could go up to $100. As of today, a week after they started bombing, you know what it is? $93. And it's just going to keep going up. And you guys can't even really deny this anymore because I've lost track of the number of videos I've seen in just the last 2 days of Trump supporters throwing away their red hats, throwing away their Trump flags, and ripping their Trump bumper stickers off their truck. And they're doing it over gas prices. So apparently for 10 years, it wasn't the lies that bothered you, it wasn't the misogyny, the racism, or even the pedophilia. It was gas prices that finally broke you out of the cult. But I don't know if you realize just how bad this is. Because while your dear leader, your Jesus figure, is telling you that affordability is a joke and everybody across the country is rich now, not only were our prices going up before this because of his shitty tariffs, but because the cost of gas is going up, the cost of everything is going to go up due to increased transportation prices. Which means that every single thing you buy, including those eggs that you really wanted to be cheaper, are going to be astronomically insane. So how does it feel to vote 3 times for a man who lied to your face about absolutely everything? He didn't make life more affordable for you. He didn't make your insurance or your prescription drugs more affordable for you. He didn't make your house more affordable. He didn't bring down your grocery prices or your gas prices. He's actively hiding the Epstein files. And he's just driving all of you into the poorhouse as he continues to make you all look like traitors to your fucking country.
Do you regret your vote right now?
Well, between him and her, I thought he was the better choice, but honestly, I miss my Uncle Joe. I was a nobody, and I was balling then. Now, I couldn't even tell you. I couldn't even show you $5 in my pocket.
We spoke to Trump voters here in Florida who are ticked off about the fact that the gas prices in the state have gone up by an average of about 60 cents.
Yo, this is not a serious nation. This shit is like, it's like, and I can make this joke because I'm Nigerian. This is like Nigeria if it had social services. I'm so serious. This is, they said, I miss my Uncle Joe. Dog Brandon, Sleepy Joe, the one that y'all let the orange clown convince you didn't do no good. But anyway, another part, and I'm going to keep my thing brief, and I'm going to get out of here. Another part that annoys me, though, is having to see people like that go like, yeah, you know, between the two of them, I thought he was a better choice. That's annoying. He wasn't. I think that there are about 100 people, even career politicians, corporate, whatever, that will get better than that guy as a president. I seen an example once, didn't see it again. The second thing is, though, also is that you can see hints. I'll tag the full video at the bottom so you can watch it. You can see hints that some of this shit, they trying to rationalize it in their head, that it's this weird, like, Kamala was mega super bad, but Joe Biden was okay. And it's like part of the criticisms that I saw from the left was that she wouldn't break away from Joe Biden on multiple things, right? And she was willing to do a lot of the same stuff that he was doing. But then I got people on the right now that can't admit, maybe Trump wasn't a good idea, but never Kamala either. But, oh, by the way, the guy that she was vice president under, he was good. But I couldn't trust her as a former vice president. Yeah, that's...
Did you fill up today or just...
No, I just got $15.
Is that because it's high?
Yeah, I can't afford to fill up right now. Payday isn't right now. I don't know that we're going to wake up from one day to the next, to be honest.
The only thing that I know that the prices went up, it's not good. So he's the president, so he needs to consider it when the prices goes up. It's not good for the lives of the people.
Gas prices in the US have been rising since the war in Iran began. They've gone up on average about 50 cents a gallon, and here in DC that puts it about $3.50. Now in Australian terms, a litre works out about 125 Australian here. That might not seem much, but motorists here are already feeling the pinch.
I just heard up 50 cents on the dollar so far since the war. Probably get a little worse before it levels out, would be my guess.
The president says, look, they will go up for a short time, but it's worth it for America's security. What do you think about that?
We don't really know how long this is going to take. We don't know how long his war is going to be. So it's uncertainty. He does never really tell us anything clear to us.
President Trump says oil prices will drop dramatically once the mission in Iran is complete. And he says that higher prices are a small price to pay for world peace and security.
I felt pretty secure 3 weeks ago before this war, so I'm not really sure what he's talking about.
Oh my goodness. So it is breaking my heart to see so many un-American, just unpatriotic people complaining right now, okay? Because I'm hearing the MAGA crowd talking about, oh, Lucas, I'm not with Trump because I can't feed my family. Listen, all right? Maybe you should go on a diet, all right? People complaining about the war with Iran. It's not a war. We don't have boots on the ground. And I'm hearing all these complaints. Lucas, I can't pay my bills. Lucas, I don't have any food in the refrigerator. Lucas, my child is starving. Suck it up, buttercup. Okay? Listen. We are going through a recession for peace. This is for peace. Your family is starving for peace. Okay? If it wasn't for Israel attacking Iran, we wouldn't be afraid of Iran attacking us in retaliation. That's what Marco Rubio said. So we have got to...
The question is how hard is the pain and how much are people going to have to endure? Gas prices are going up. Jet fuel prices are jumping, and CEOs are saying that ticket prices are also going to go up. Iran just said that the world should be ready for oil at $200 a barrel. You don't agree with Iran on anything, but do you agree that people need to be prepared for that?
We're going through short-term energy disruption for just huge long-term gain. You're seeing Iran's behavior.
Could
They're
that
attacking
hit, could
every
short-term
country in the
mean
region.
$200 a barrel?
I would say unlikely, but we are focused on the military operation and solving a problem. I'm not going to guess on short-term trading. That's based on psychology more than flows of oil.
Do you regret your vote right now?
Well, between him and her, I thought he was the better choice, but honestly, I miss my Uncle Joe. I was a nobody, and I was balling then. Now, I couldn't even tell you. I couldn't even show you $5 in my pocket.
We spoke to Trump voters here in Florida who are ticked off about the fact that the gas prices in the state have gone up by an average of about 60 cents within just a week.
I would just wish he'd keep up on his campaign promise and say he was going to put it under $3. He'd end that war so fast, but here it is, 5 years later, helping his buddy out get his more money. And then never mind charging us Americans all sorts of money for fuel that you just stole from Venezuela.
And those gas prices are getting higher because of volatile oil prices due to the war in Iran, a war that these Trump voters tell us they hope wraps up quickly.
If I could, speak to the president, I just encourage him to finish up this war and get us back to a safe world.
He's saying about for our safety, leave somebody alone, they won't bother you.
Hopefully this conflict over there will end, it's just unfortunate.
The overall vibe here at the gas pump amongst these Trump voters is they feel like the economy is not going well right now.
At the moment, I'm really out of work.
My hope is that it's temporary and it doesn't last for too long, that oil prices come back down. That's my hope.
Now, we talk about FAFO. Now, I'm not laughing at those people. But is it called Schadenfreude? What's the term that I'm looking for? I guess it's just FAFO. And it's just really rich right now that those people did not understand, some of them did not understand the moment. They did not read the room or read the country, their wallets, the bullshit that was being told by Donald Trump. They didn't read behind between the lines, so to speak, of what was happening in the manosphere. The people were going, oh, great. And then he said, you heard what the first guy said. I thought that he would be better than her, meaning Kamala Harris, when they said, and what was the reason for that? There are myriad reasons. But I think the reasons for that, one, misogyny in this country. Can't believe there can be a woman leader. And look, my belief has always been, since I have been aware enough, is that if you want to get something done, hire a woman to do it. When I was at CNN, the people who ran my show, women. People I get most of the breaks to, women. Because if you want to get it done, women of all different ethnicities understand pretty much what it is like to be discriminated against, what it is like to sit in a room and give ideas, and then a man comes in, 30 seconds later, say the same thing and do this, and they go, oh yeah. So women are like, I'm going to get this shit done. One, they have a point to prove, and one, I just think that they are, pardon me, fellas, but I think they're the most evolved of the sexes. Sorry. I was the only boy. I grew up, women raised me. I think they're the most evolved of the sexes. Women are not knuckle draggers for the most part. And so they believed that BS that was spread out there. And now you have the Republicans who are there, right? The ones who you saw in that report. And then you have Republicans in general, meaning in the Republican lawmaker leadership class. They aren't willing to call the war what it is. This is from the LA Times, of Republicans not willing to call the war what it is. And this is from Jonah Goldberg. He says, look, Republicans aren't willing to call the war for what it is. And scrolling just a little bit, Andy, because they're afraid. And obviously, they're afraid. We're just going to read the top part of it. So let's state the obvious. It says, we're at war with Iran, even though the administration is saying it's not. My evidence, turn on the TV. U.S. forces are working with Israel. They killed the supreme leader in Iran, many of his top aides. We sunk Iran's navy and destroyed most of their air force. We bombed thousands of military sites across the region. President Trump, the commander-in-chief, has deemed unconditional surrender from Iran. He routinely refers to it as a war. Pete Hegseth, who calls himself the Secretary of War, also describes this as a war daily, such as last week when he said, we are set the terms of the war. The truth that we are at war is simple. Only politicians and lawyers could make it seem complicated. And then he goes on to talk about, and so once you're at war, what does that mean? That there are certain things that you got to do in order to either to continue to facilitate that war, whether that's through, well, first of all, you got to have some dough, and you have to have the weapons to be able to fight it, and you also have to have messaging and a plan. A plan would be good. A plan would be good. Wait, so in this moment now, you have Republicans who are behind the scenes saying, oh, shit, the midterms were already in jeopardy. We maybe had somewhat of a fighting chance, but we thought maybe we weren't dead on arrival, but with this, we're DOA. We're DOA. And then you have, speaking of the manosphere, Andy, I want you to roll this, and then we're going to go to the break. I want you to roll this. This, it's a short soundbite of Joe Rogan. And that'll give you an indication of where I'm going to go after this, because you're going to hear from a whole slew of Republicans, a whole slew of manosphere, or just a couple of manosphere people about where we are, how we're screwed. We didn't vote for this. Please, Mr. President, make it stop. Roll it.
Well, it just seems so insane based on what he ran on. I mean, this is why a lot of people feel betrayed, right? He ran on no more wars and these stupid, senseless wars, and then we have one that we can't even really clearly defined why we did it.
The Don Lemon Show is brought to you by the Freedom from Religion Foundation. Now, I've said it before, and I believe it more than ever right now. Equality under the law only works when government stays neutral about religion. The First Amendment wasn't written to protect one religion. It was written to protect all of us, believers, non-believers, and everyone in between. But that promise is under pressure right now from Christian nationalist groups who believe that their religious views should shape public policy and control how everyone else lives. That's where the Freedom from Religion Foundation comes in. They're a national organization fighting to keep church and state separate, defending students, families, and communities from religious coercion and government overreach. So if you believe freedom means freedom for everyone, this work really does matter. So you should visit ffrf.us/Don or text Don, that's D-O-N, to 511-511. That's ffrf.us/Don or text Don to 511-511. And help protect a country that belongs to all of us. Tax fees may apply. Support comes from Bio-Optimizers. Now, listen, I want to tell you about something that I'm trying as part of my nighttime routine. I kept hearing about magnesium breakthrough from Bio-Optimizers. Friends were talking about it. People in the wellness world were all talking about it. And they all kept saying the same thing, that this one is different. Well, most magnesium supplements only have 1 or 2 forms of magnesium. Magnesium breakthrough combines 7 different forms, plus cofactors that help your body actually absorb and use it. So I decided to give it a try myself. People say they notice deeper sleep, feeling calmer, better recovery after workouts, even better digestion. But you know me, I like to try something before I recommend it. So far, so good. So I have a challenge to you. Try it with me. Track your sleep. Pay attention to how you feel. See if you wake up more rested. And here's the best part. Bio-Optimizers offers a 365-day money-back guarantee. That's a full year. 0 risk. So go to biooptimizers.com/DonLemon. Use the code DON15 to get 15%.
Guys, can you believe it? Oh, I cannot believe the president is raising the gas prices once again. God, when are we going to get Joe Biden out of office? Wait, what? Who's president? No. It's not Trump. He campaigned on lowering prices on day one. He wouldn't lie to us. No. Really?
Unironically, the best outcome for humanity of this war is an unmitigated American and Israeli humiliation. There are different forms that this can come in, so whether or not this comes in the form of like Trump backing out before he puts U.S. troops on the ground, ostensibly because he got the boss call from the petrodollar states, and declaring some sort of completely hollow victory that the rest of the world sees as totally negligible in the face of overwhelming humiliation, or boots do get put on the ground and thousands of U.S. troops get fed to the fucking wood chipper, and then the U.S. has to pull out in disgrace anyway. Whatever form this comes in, it is still far and away the best alternative to everything else. Morally, this war is already a flagrant atrocity. Strategically, it is a disaster. Ecologically, it is a catastrophe. The U.S. strikes on the oil refinery in Iran have poisoned the air of over 10 million people, potentially up to 17 million people. It is raining oil in Iran. Diplomatically, this war could spell the end of U.S. relations in the Middle East. Iran just announced today that any country that expels its Israeli and American ambassadors will get passage through the Strait of Hormuz. And that's a very big deal because economically, this war has signaled the end times. Trump is personally manipulating the oil futures market by making conciliatory statements, waiting till markets close, and then recommitting to the war path. Let me make something very clear. The global economy is staring down a fucking cliff. Iran has stated they are trying to drive oil prices above $200 per barrel. That is apocalypse level. Even if everything stopped right now, we would still be feeling economic shocks because oil refineries and natural gas infrastructure in the Gulf have already started shutting down, and it takes weeks to get them back to normal production. But if Trump is committed to a larger conflict and indeed considering boots on the ground, as we keep hearing that he is, we are looking at something worse than the 1970s oil crisis, literally unheard of ever since the establishment of the global economic order. And in terms of nuclear warfare, we keep hearing that American and Israeli military contingents are talking about this as if they are trying to bring about Armageddon, literally referencing bringing about the end times. And they keep making statements that sound like they are considering using a tactical nuke. Let me also be very clear about something. If nuclear weapons are ever deployed on this planet, we are fucking done. It's almost not worth talking about because, like, what is there to say? Yeah, once nukes fly, it's over for us. And it is a metaphysical, tragic comedy that the ignition button on this world-ending technology is currently in the hands of the most irreverent, fanatical, bloodthirsty monsters that have thus far sought to destroy everything good about this world and do not see any inclination to stop. So yes, with all of that on the table, the humiliating defeat of the US and Israel in this war, potentially striking a lethal blow to the American empire and the entire world order that it has upheld for the past 80 years, is the best outcome that we could potentially see from this conflict. Because I shudder to think about the implications for humanity in any sort of paradigm that the US considers to be a win for itself, and Israel even more so. That is our current situation. That is why the world that you thought you knew before does not exist anymore.
The Trump administration keeps telling us that as soon as they stop this active war in Iran, gas prices are going to come right down. I read something today that told me why that is absolutely not the case, and I want to explain it to you. But what it said is that even if Trump ends this war tomorrow, which he likely can't, the Strait of Hormuz may stay closed for months. It's all because of insurance companies. So most of us have the basic picture right. We understand that oil prices are going up because Trump launched this unauthorized war in Iran. As a result of that attack, Iran shut down the Strait of Hormuz, the single most important oil transit choke point on the planet. There's no real alternative route, so if it's closed, the world feels it, not just us. So we've got all that, but there is an assumption baked in for most of us, and I think for Trump too, that the strait is shut down because of active fighting, and that once the fighting stops, ships are just going to start moving again. That's what Trump is promising, but he is leaving out a massive factor. The Strait of Hormuz was functionally shut down by paperwork. On March 1st and 2nd, 7 insurance companies filed 72-hour cancellation notices for ships transiting the Persian Gulf, and traffic in the strait immediately dropped by 80%. Not because ships couldn't physically pass. Without insurance, no port will accept you. No bank will finance your voyage. No cargo owner will load your ship. You become a commercially useless object. These 7 companies collectively insure the vast majority of the world's ocean-going shipping tonnage. As long as they refuse to insure, nothing is going anywhere. Now, war risk insurance is still technically available, but policies are now limited to 7 days. They cost more than $1 million per week. That is unsustainable. Financial analysts are warning that even if the bombs stop tomorrow, the strait could remain functionally closed for months afterward because the insurance market and the military campaign are running on completely different clocks. Even after a ceasefire, insurance markets are going to have to rebuild their risk models from scratch, renegotiate capacity through an entire chain of reinsurers, and re-underwrite individual voyages one at a time. Now, Trump has announced the U.S. government will offer insurance to ships in the Gulf and that the military will escort them through if necessary, but so far that hasn't moved any ships because our own Navy has already said it's too dangerous. Also, taxpayers do not want to subsidize insurance for the world's ships. So when Trump stands up and says, "Oh, I ended the war and gas prices are coming down," remember, the people who actually control that strait right now work in insurance offices. They are on a completely different timeline than Trump is. They will say when they're ready to reinsure those ships, it'll be well after the bombs stop falling, possibly many months later. The first $100 tank of gas is coming, folks, and by the third one, a lot of Americans are going to be asking why nobody told them this wasn't just about bombs. It was spreadsheets, 7 companies, and an administration that started a war without reading the fine print.
And we're back with more news updates. The Trump administration temporarily lifted sanctions on Russian oil shipments as the Iran war sends prices soaring. A new treasury license allows 128 million barrels of previously sanctioned Russian oil to be sold over the next 30 days. Putin remains one of the biggest beneficiaries of this war. Tel Aviv tonight, after being hammered by Iran's 44th wave of True Promise 4, brutal footage, and once again, Iran is not interested in handling Israel and the U.S. an off-ramp. It'll be an off-ramp of humiliation, this reporter writes. Here's the video. The RGC claimed the strikes destroyed targets in the northern occupied territories, those towns there, as well as the U.S. Fifth Fleet and other U.S. military bases in the region. The IRGC said the 44th wave of Operation True Promise 4, launched on the eve of International Quds Day, was in memory of resistance leaders unalived in recent years, including Qassam Soleimani, Abu Mahdi al-Muhandis, Hassan Nasrallah, Hassim Safi al-Din, Ismail Haniyeh, and Yahya Sinwar. We will witness a different International Quds Day, the statement said, adding that the liberation of Quds, Jerusalem, is near. And that's what they use down there. And please tell me you guys know who she is. President Trump officially removes me from the Religious Liberty Commission for exercising my religious liberty. The only Catholic woman who opposes Zionism was removed as a prelude to the Iran war. This is the email I received from the White House. And here it is right here. Terminated effective immediately. Islamic resistance in Iraq claims it blinked down U.S. refueling aircraft. In a statement, the group said its fighters used appropriate weapons to down a KC-135 refueling aircraft belonging to U.S. forces in the skies over western Iraq, describing the attack as a response to violations of Iraq airspace. Completely contradicts CENTCOM and the White House. And breaking news, Israeli media reports 50 settlers were injured following Iran's retaliatory missile attack in Galilee. And here it is. Israel's emergency service, Magdan David Adam, said around 30 people were hurt after a missile hit Zazir, a town about 60 miles north of Jerusalem near the Lebanon border. Most injuries were reported to be from shattered glass caused by the blast. Israel military said Iran launched missiles toward Israel earlier. Hezbollah said early Friday it too launched several rocket salvos toward Israel. Separately, reports of live fire across the region continued overnight. AP reported strikes in and around Tehran. Bahrain sounded sirens warning of an incoming Iranian attack, and Saudi Arabia said it intercepted 28 drones. Before this battle, we planned to launch a war in Lebanon, but the political leadership did not approve it, a senior Israeli military source cited by Israeli Channel 12. And 12 servicemen were evacuated from Saudi Arabia to Germany today after being wounded in Iranian attacks. Remember the hospital that I reported on in Ramstein? Iran claims they hit the USS Abraham Lincoln. The USS Abraham Lincoln aircraft carrier sustained severe damage following the targeting by missiles and drones, per the IRGC. And Qatar condemns Israeli attacks on southern Lebanon. Finally. And look at what the White House released. Executing our objectives with ruthless precision. So much precision, they fired at paintings. And this guy said, we will make it to the return of the Messiah, but this will not happen next Thursday. To get there, the temple must be rebuilt, which means destroying what currently stands. This is, of course, the Dome of the Rock and Al-Aqsa Mosque. Do we see what they're doing now? And mind you, no one is going to make Jesus Christ get off the throne because he's seated at the right hand of God because of this. They're ushering in the Al-Dajjal. They're ushering in the Antichrist. And breaking news, first French soldier has been unalived since start of U.S.-Israeli war with Iran, origin of drone unclear. President Emmanuel Macron said a French soldier was unalived in an attack in Erbil, Iraq. It was not immediately clear where the drone originated from, per Reuters. That's important. Remember, Azerbaijan, Turkey, and Cyprus are having the same issue. Some Persian language Telegram channels are sharing footage they claim shows the American Lucas drone modeled after Iran's Shahad 136, which they allege was used in a strike on Iraqi army positions in nearby Makhmur, about 40 miles of Erbil. 6 other French soldiers were also wounded. The French military said the troops were targeted by a drone while conducting a training operation in the area. And Saudi Arabia, as of 10 minutes ago, since 10 more drones were intercepted. And I saved the best for last. Iran's parliament speaker Mohammed Bagher Ghalibaf has shared a post on social media mocking the United States military after it said one of its refueling planes had crashed in Iraq. American families deserve to know why Trump is sacrificing their sons and daughters to advance Netanyahu's expansionist delusions. He also included a hashtag referring to convicted blank blank Jeffrey Epstein, a former associate of U.S. President Donald J. Trump, who also had ties to Israel's intelligence service. That's all the news I have for you guys. I am going to bed. It is midnight. As you can tell, I am exhausted. Have a great night. I'll be back in the morning, and this is just going to continue.
I think it's starting to become very clear that the United States, whether it be the Trump administration or the Pentagon, has been completely caught off guard when it comes to Iran closing the Strait of Hormuz. I think that when they were developing these plans into trying to take out the supreme leader and do a change and get rid of the, whether it be nuclear weapons or enriched uranium, I think they thought that would have been done within a week, maybe 2 weeks, and that they would have decimated everything Iran would have had and the Strait would have been fine. But we're seeing panic right now. Panic from the United States, and the United States then asking favors from many other countries to do a lot of different things. Because we're seeing a lot of movements that you could tell were not planned, such as releasing sanctions on Russia for oil. That was never a thing. Granted, it's only on oil that is currently at sea, and that Russia really can't make that much money on. But still, we're seeing the United States do a massive release of our reserves in the world, which, realistically speaking, probably not going to really see a change in our markets for like 2 to 3 months. And as that's happening, I think the U.S. is now starting to panic a little bit here. You know, we're talking about 6 ships, some of them oil, I think 2 bulk carriers, hit in the Strait of Hormuz. And as you're seeing, you know, whether it be the U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent ask for a coalition of Navy ships around the world to help out, I think they're realizing that, oh my gosh, we are in a very bad situation here. Because realistically speaking, if they would have known that that strait would have been shut down, they would have had military ships there. There would have been a coalition or something put together beforehand, but they didn't have that. And now we're seeing countries panic because gas, I mean, at this moment is even $95 a barrel. And Iran is actually trying to keep it closed as long as possible so that thing can skyrocket. And so as we sit here, we're watching probably the worst case scenario when it comes to the Strait of Hormuz and oil prices happen right in front of us. And I don't think the Trump administration knows what to do.
Anyways, welcome back, guys, and thank you so much for watching. And I have literally said this before, allegedly. I know, let me not say I know, Sonia, please. Sonia, please. Let me say allegedly, I've visually said this before, that there is something about Epstein that is relating to this Israeli and the orange man that is literally making the orange man to want to prove himself that he is one of the best, the sweetest support for the Israelis. Are you thinking that way too? Or there is something that these people hold against this man. There is something that they have that if you did not go into this battle with us, we are going to pull it out. And at the end of the day, he has to calculate the move. What is the disadvantage? What is the advantage? Okay, I think I have to join. Or like this guy literally said, this particular guy literally said in my first clip that I played after my introduction, he want to act like he is the smartest. Now, imagine falling into the trap or into the trick that was set for Biden. He did not fall in, then you fell into that particular trip or trick or trap. Now look at the situation of things. As I'm talking to you, in this my country, we don't have steady electricity. The light I'm using right now is a solar light. The weather is hot and harsh to the skin because of so much industrial blah 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 generator that we do use. We do buy fuel for less than $1,000 because right now in Nigeria, what is $1,000? Sorry, $1. $1 in Nigeria is equivalent to 1,400 and something naira. Is that high? But right now you can even have that $1. You are not even going to get fuel. Just per 1 liter. I don't know how I will explain so that you guys can literally understand. Now MAGAs are crying. No, they should not. I love the fact that you voted for him. I love the fact that you were advocating for peace. I love the fact that you love every single thing that his regime can bring. I love the fact that you guys said that a black woman cannot literally help your situation. I love that. And right now, you're feeling the heat even more than Black Americans. And that is why Black Americans have chosen to sit down. We are just going to fold our arms and watch. It is what you actually voted for. It is what you advocated for. We don't have any issues. That is your choice. Let's deal with your choice. Now you can't fill your tank. You don't have $5 in your pockets. It's quite sad. If you're watching and you're Black American, I'm sending you hugs. And how are you doing? Please let me know in the comment section. Let me know in the comment section, because honestly, right from the day that this orange man took over, nobody has literally have one full day without having something that we associate with this man. Nobody. Nobody. The other president said, if they attack you, we are going to help support and attack them too. But we cannot go into this war. We cannot start. We don't like war, so we cannot start this war. But when they reached Babathon, Baba said, let's go ahead, let's start. We are at war. Credits belong to the original creators of every single clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. And for disclaimers, this is just for educational purpose, not to come here defame anyone, ruffle on anyone's shoulder, or make anyone feel uncomfortable. And guys, I want to say a very big thank you to every single one of you liking, commenting, sharing, dropping super thanks, and also joining my membership. I really appreciate, and I do not take you guys for granted. But anyways, thank you so much for staying stick and hook with me to the end of this video. And yes, guys, with that being said, with no further ado, I do like I always say in my videos, I'm going to be Simba, and I'll see you guys in my next one. For now, bye guys. I love you guys.